Hi guys, this is just a quick tutorial. I'm going to take you through how to create face morphs. I'm trying to create a set of face morphs where we morph Asian faces and white faces. So we have some faces in the middle that look like mixed race Asian white faces. This is for a project that I'm hopefully going to be working on with an honors student this year. So I've created a new folder in our shared Google Drive folder. I'm just going to go to it now. I think it's called the Face Morphing Project, and it has all the materials that we need to sort of get started on this. So I'm just going to go to the drive. And open up Asian American photo editing. The new folder here, Face Morphing Project. So if you go to this folder, the first thing you need to do is choose two faces that you want to morph. I'm going to morph female faces because it's a bit more challenging in some subtle ways. So go to unused female faces and just sort of pick any female Asian face that you want. I've selected these specifically because I think they are potential candidates for morphing. You'll notice that they pretty much all have their hair in a ponytail. That helps a lot with the morphing because we need the hair to be somewhat similar between them. So let's say I choose this lady. She's clearly got her hair in a very tight ponytail. You can't see any of it behind there. There's a bit of weirdness going on at the top here. In Photoshop, I could probably sort that out. We don't necessarily need that bit sticking up. So I'm going to download this one, Asian Female 204. And now that I've chosen that, my job is to find a white face that's going to work as a pair with this face. So I need something where the hair's pretty similar and the face is like a somewhat similar shape. Like it's really mainly about the hair, though, I would say, when you're in this stage of choosing faces. So the white faces are down here. Let's have a look at some of them. So I would say no, not a good candidate. Probably not. Probably not. This one, maybe. It's got, there's a somewhat similar shape to the face, and we can get rid of this bit. We don't need it. So I'd say this is a potential candidate. Also, there is a part here on the left, but there's sort of something somewhat similar to that going on there. So I'm going to say 201 is a definite possibility. This would kind of be a possibility too. 217, I still like 201 a bit more though. This one could be good actually too. But 201 has a bit more of the squareness. So I'm going to go back to that and just use that. Yeah. I think it'll work. So let's download that as well. So once you've chosen your two images, the next step is just to open them up in Photoshop. I'm just going to put them on my desktop for now. So just go open with Photoshop. Same for this one. And wait for them to open. Okay. So really the first step with any project is to duplicate the layer, because you see it's locked. We need to either unlock it or duplicate the layer so we can work from the unlocked duplicate layer. So I'm going to do that for both of them. It's just a right click, choose duplicate layer. Okay, cool. So next step is just to put one on top of the other, and it doesn't really matter which one you put on top of the other. I'm using the lasso tool, just selecting the entire image, Command C to copy it, go to the other image, Command V to paste it on top. Now just using the opacity, we can see they're pretty well aligned. And yeah, this should be fine. Okay, so the next step is I'm gonna just get rid of these parts that we don't want. So for this girl, so I'm just zooming in by going Command plus. I'm gonna get rid of this extra bit of hair here just by selecting it again with the lasso tool and getting rid of it. That bit's fine. We don't need to worry about that just now. That extra bit of hair, that should be fine as well. And for this lady, I'm just going to get rid of this extra bit of hair sticking out at the top here. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. So to actually delete something, you need to be on the correct layer. So we have some things that look slightly weird now with this, but you don't need to worry about that. So for example, I can get rid of this if I just do, for example, so she's on top. So if I go to this layer and I select, say, this whole area, you can go Edit, Fill, and use White, opacity 100%. And now you've just got this white spot. And I kind of thought it would create its own layer, but it hasn't. Okay, so go back. We don't want to select that whole area. We just want to select the part that we want to fill. And really, I should have done this instead of deleting it in hindsight. Okay, Edit, Fill, White. Okay, and then again, this lady, we probably should have just filled that part with whiteness. Okay, Edit. Okay, nothing selected. It's because we're on the wrong layer. Okay, Edit, Fill. Okay, we're doing fine. So zooming back out, Command minus. The next step that is good to do is to put them on the same neck. Like these ladies' necks are fairly similar, and the morphing program might be fine if we just used the same, use these photos as they are, sorry. But one thing that helps the morphing program a lot is if just they're on the same neck. So what I'm going to do is just choose one of these necks to use. I think they're both pretty good. This one's a bit longer, so it's going to make it a bit easier. So I'm going to use this neck, which basically means I'm going to put the Asian lady on top, and what I'm going to do is select her neck, or rather, instead of selecting her neck, what I'm going to do is select the whole region of the white lady's neck. This selection is not great, so I'm going to deselect part of it. So anytime you make a selection, you can press Shift to add to the selection, or Alt to take away from the selection. And now that I have that area selected, what I can do is just get rid of parts of this or shift parts of this. So what I mean by that is essentially I want to now deselect her face, and then I'm going to use this stamp tool to actually broaden her neck. So anytime you use the stamp tool, what you're going to be doing, what layer am I? Okay, now I'm on that Asian layer. What you're going to be doing is just copying a section and then shifting it and pasting that same section. So what we can do is just start to change where the color of her neck stretches to. And it's yeah, it can often look a little bit blotchy, but in general, as long as you're sort of patient with it and you're not trying to grab too much of the area at a time, it can look reasonably okay. Once we zoom out, it looks kind of fine. So all we want is her skin color to fill up the region that was filled up with the other lady's neck. Because then we're essentially just going to use the other lady's shirt and get rid of this lady's shirt altogether. Okay, so it's getting there. Just gotta be patient. Don't try to do too much too fast. Okay, to me that looks okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go Shift Command I, and what that does is it inverts the selection. So now what's selected is actually all the rest of the image. And also what I want to do is deselect her face, because I don't want to be deleting her face. I just want to kind of delete the shirt. So, and really, like, I can deselect most of it. So I'm just going to use the lasso tool, press Alt, and the only part I want selected is really this area around here. So what I'm going to do is take out of the selection all the top of the image, basically. Okay, so it looks okay. Now if I just go Command X, I cut it. Okay, so you can see that now we've got her flesh on the other lady's neck, and it's so it's meeting up nicely with the t-shirt. And look, it doesn't look great here, so let's just quickly sort of fix it up. We can just make a bit of a better selection. And then just grab that stamp tool again and do the same thing that we did before. Okay. Stamp tool, let's just kind of pause for a minute. Photoshop's generally, this happens sometimes with Photoshop. Often it will come back, you just need to be patient. Okay, so let's just make this nicely getting to the edge here. And over here as well. And up here as well. Another thing we can do to sort of just enhance how this looks a little bit is just use the blurring tool. So if I just reduce the size of it, if we just blur these edges a little bit, it starts to look less, starts to stand out a lot less. Like sharp cuts that we've made. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because this shadow is there. It just doesn't look quite right in this lady. But I'm gonna say that it's okay. People probably won't be focused very much on these details at the base of the neck anyway, so like we should be okay. Another tool that we could use to give her a bit more shadow here is the burn tool, and this just sort of darkens regions of your image. Okay. Alright, that's looking okay. Alright, so essentially we're pretty much done now. We've got this image and then this image, although we might want to fill that part. Edit. Okay, just get on the right layer. Edit. Fill. Right, okay. Maybe get rid of this as well. Edit. Fill. Right, okay. This image is ready to go, and this image is ready to go, and now you can see they have the same neck essentially. So the face morphing software is going to be able to sort of yeah, just focus on morphing the faces, and these faces are quite different. Definitely the Asian face is broader, the white face is a bit longer. But that should be okay. The face morphing software should be able to handle that. So what I'm going to do is just save these JPEGs and just say, make sure you're saving as a JPEG. And I'm just going to add like ready, as in ready to be morphed. And then the other one is like this. What? No, ready. So that's JPEG. Okay, so these images are now ready to be morphed. So I'm going to quit Photoshop. Don't need to save. Don't save. And I'm going to open up this software called Morph Age. Now you can download this software if you just search for Morph Age. If you go to this website, you can download it for free and you can use it for free. Some features are not available. Just click on download here. Some features are not available, but for our purposes, that's okay. Like if we are just going to rely on sort of screenshots of our morphed faces, which I think we can, we should be fine. We don't need to pay money and buy the full version. So it's pretty easy to use. I'll just sort of do a quick demonstration over here. Essentially, you drag your photos that you've created into the left and the middle, and then your morph sort of appears on the right. And if you click play, you can sort of see what it's doing. It's fading one image into the other. But this is kind of not what we want, because so you see this image, you see that like there's all these transparent regions, and all it's doing is fading one image out, and fading the other image in. This is not what we want. We want it to look like a real person when it's halfway between these faces. So the way to do that is just to use these tools up here. So really the only two tools that I have really been using are this one and this one. I'm not sure what this does. Yeah, you can explore, but the way that I've been doing it is pretty easy. Maybe a little bit time consuming, but it works. So this is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes, but essentially we just have to sort of use this tool to mark around all the key areas of this face and then move those regions which appear over here so that they sort of meet up with the same parts of this face. So I'll show you what I mean. So we grab this tool that can create these long lines and we start to create these regions. And as I'm doing it, you can see that they're appearing over here as well. So this one's just going to trace the outline and go around the outside of the hair. Now if I zoom in here, you can see that it's pretty close, but we need it to be like exactly on sort of the same part of her, or the same parts of her. So I'm just going to move those up, and you can see that her face is broader, so we need to move these out. This is like the bottom of the ear one. It sort of, if you look over on the left, it highlights in blue which one you're sort of working on, which can be useful. So you know, yeah, what part it's lining up to. It's generally pretty obvious though. Those ones look okay. The hair is a lot flatter here. And that ear looks pretty good. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so next one is just going to be, I guess, let's do the inside of the hairline. Just make sure that is in the right spots. If you make a mistake, like say you grab the entire thing instead of one of the dots, just Command Z will undo it. Okay, now let's do the eyebrows. Oh yeah, so you don't have to go from left to right. You can put the lines on the right and then adapt them on the left. Okay, other eyebrow. Okay. And I mean, I've just been using a lot of trial and error, but I find that you kind of have to do the outline of the eyes and also the eyeballs separately. So I'll do the eyes first. They're quite a different shape. Yeah. And we're going to just adapt these slowly. And now the eyeballs. And now just around the nose. It's okay. And now the mouth. But yeah, I mean, feel free to explore. I've just used this software like a few times, and I'm sure there's plenty of things it can do that I don't know about. So if you find a way of making these morphs better, more convincing, I'm all ears for sure. All right. So now that we've set these regions, you'll notice that what we were seeing before we won't see now. So like it looks like it's kind of updated it already, but let's sort of run through it from the start to the end. And you can see that, yeah, it's really clean now. Like there's no, like if I stop it about halfway, there's no sort of transparencies or anything. There is some weirdness like up here, I think just because of all the morphing that's happened. But that's okay. And there's some weirdness with the shirt too. But the truth is, like when we get to the stage of, okay, having our morphs ready, a little bit of Photoshop will be able to sort out this stuff. Or even right now, let's try to fix up whatever's going on with this shirt here. You see, that part's perfectly aligned. My thinking is it probably gets pulled out of alignment by these other morphs that are pulling and pushing these images. So that's kind of just fixed whatever was going on with that shirt here. There's still a bit of weirdness with the hair, isn't there? That's interesting. Maybe if we really stick a bit more closely to the hairline. Yeah, that's made it a bit better actually. Okay. Yeah, I'm still learning all this stuff, right? There's a bit of weirdness at the side of the face there. Maybe we can fix that up if we do that. Yeah, I guess like the more dots you have and the stricter you are with the placement of the dots, the better these images will look. Let's see. Try and get rid of that bit there, maybe. Yeah, that's looking better. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool that it updates these in real time too. Alright, so pretty happy with these. White face, Asian face. Alright. So when you've done this and you've got it kind of looking reasonably good, like I would say this looks reasonably good, just save it. So I'm going to save as female morph 4. save it to my desktop, and then just we're gonna save them online. So one thing I should say also is the faces that we've used, we want to move them so other people don't use them too. So I'm going to move these faces to used female faces. So just go move to, and then just go to used female faces, click move, okay. And then the other one was right at the top, right? Yeah, that's all. Okay, move this as well. Move to used female faces, okay. And now I'm going to go to face morphs, and I'm going to go to completed morphs. And this is actually interesting because what they save as are actually folders. So if you try to just upload it the normal way, like this, I'm finding it just doesn't work. You get this error. So what I would ask you to do is actually just remove this, whatchamacallit, the extension, remove it, and then it turns into this folder. And the folders you actually can upload. So you can see it appear there now. So yeah, that's pretty much it from start to finish. That's how you do it. Hopefully you guys don't have too much difficulty. I know like this is a bit more involved, I think, than just the face swapping because we're using multiple programs. And we've got a lot more to think about. And each morph you do, there'll be unique challenges, right? So we had to get rid of some weird bits of hair of these girls, and the necks won't always match up kind of as well as these guys. But yeah, think your way through them, and if you have questions, obviously let me know. But yeah, this is the job. We're doing this project. I want to get as many of these morphs as possible. One thing RAs always want to know is, well, how many do we have to do? Just don't worry about that. Just see if you can do a few per week, maybe like 4 per week, and yeah, the more the better. More data is always better than less data. So yeah, thanks for helping out, and good luck with this. And like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay.